I think that it's so important that we as leaders create this environment where people know they belong, we show them they matter, and we help them make their own choices, that we give them the freedom that they need to do the great work that they need to do, because micromanagement is not scalable.
How can you comment on what you learned and implemented on giving that and creating that culture in your career?
So, I've learned that there are absolutely three things that people want in a work relationship. You hit them on the head. One, they want to feel like and know that they belong. Everybody on this listening to us or watching us today has left a job, a party, or even a relationship because they didn't feel like they belong. Now, here's why that's so important today, is we just went through this epidemic that caused us to unconnect from people. And we're humans. We need human connection. So number one, people want to know and be treated like they belong. Number two, they want to know they matter. So is the work that I'm doing making a difference? Do I matter? And how do we do that? Well, we reward and applaud people, and we coach them, and we help them to get there. And number three, they want to make choices. People want to make their own choices. And that's why a hierarchical set of values is so important in an organization, because you heard my little spiel earlier, it protects people and sets them free. So I think that it's so important that we as leaders create this environment where people know they belong, we show them they matter, and we help them make their own choices, that we give them the freedom that they need to do the great work that they need to do, because micromanagement is not scalable.
You mentioned there that it's values that give freedom, that set people free, and having these values, and you say hierarchical values in an organization, and that actually sets people free because micromanaging is not scalable. How do you define or discover those values, and then how do you implement and get buy-in? And then lastly, how does that create freedom?
So how do you create the values? Well, it's a process that you go through in the organization of determining what is a value. A value is something that is more important than something else. So, at WD40 Company, we talked about our values, and we did a lot of work in putting our values together. And we included people in that conversation. We included people in the process of actually putting our values together. And then we lived those values on a daily basis. So our number one value at WD40 was we value doing the right thing. Our number two value is we value creating positive, lasting memories in all of our relationships. Our number three was we value making it better than it is today. Our four was we value succeeding as a tribe while excelling as individuals. Our number five was we value owning it and passionately acting on it. And our number six was we value sustaining the WD40 Company economy, which is the one that points to profitability. Now, these were hierarchical. Number 1, 2, and 3 were more powerful than 4, 5, and 6. So if you had to make a decision in the organization, you would put the scenario through the lens of the value. So we'd say, this is the decision. Is it doing the right thing? Now, each one of these values had a description of what it means underneath it, because being a global company, doing the right thing in the US might look a little different to doing the right thing in China. So we had to be very descriptive in saying what that meant. But people could sit down and say, well, this is a decision we need to make. Let's put it through the lens, number one, are we doing the right thing? And if the answer is yes, the next question is, well, will this create a positive, lasting memory? And then we'd put it through that lens. So wherever you were in the world, 24 hours a day, you had the freedom to make any decision you needed to make without quacking up the hierarchy and calling whoever you needed to say, can I make this decision? Well, if you make the decision based on our values, we'll back you, because we know you're going to make the decision that we would support globally in the organization.